not shooting the three that easily or that comfortably. I don't know if that's comfortable, but it's nice by Caitlin Clark out.
Caitlin Clark is on the verge of changing the WNBA forever, and the league might not be ready for what's coming. With her 85th three-pointer of the season, she's tied Ryan Howard's record for the most three-pointers made by a rookie. But here's where it gets downright terrifying for her opponents. Clark still has 10 regular season games left to shatter that record into pieces. This is more than just a chase for a spot in the history books. This is about domination, rewriting the narrative, and raising the bar for what it means to be a rookie in the WNBA. The Indiana Fever and the entire league need to wake up and realize what's happening here. Caitlin Clark isn't just making a statement, she's issuing a warning. Every shot she takes is a shot at the status quo, a challenge to the veterans, and a clear message that the future of the WNBA is about to be shaken to its core. Records aren't safe, legacies aren't untouchable. With Clark on the court, everything is up for grabs, and she's not just chasing greatness, she's redefining it with every three-pointer that rains down from beyond the arc. And let's not forget, this isn't a fluke or a lucky streak. This is Caitlin Clark at her most dangerous, hungry, and determined. The WNBA has never seen anything like this before. If you're not paying attention now, you're already too late, because Clark is about to change the game as we know it. 10 more games? The league better brace itself, because we're on the edge of witnessing history like never before. The rookie title doesn't do her justice. This is a revolution in real time.
Do you feel like playing in these big arenas, does it give you all an advantage because you're playing in these big arenas most every night versus the team like Atlanta? It's their second time in the season playing in a big arena like this.
I don't think it gives us an advantage. I think we're used to it. I think if anything, it probably gives them a little fire. It's like, this is our home crowd, this is our home stadium, like you want to defend your home court. That's how we feel when we're at home in front of, however many, 17,000, whatever it is that we hold in our stadium. But I don't think any crowd intimidates us, and honestly, you can tell they're just there for good basketball. They're almost cheering for both teams, it feels like. They're all standing up there at the end. So it's still a very intense basketball environment. But I think, we've gotten experience in those environments, and you can tell, like Christy said, we're only getting better and better. It's just continuing to play well for the entire game.
The Indiana Fever's rise from the ashes continues. Their latest triumph, an 8-4-7-9 victory over the Atlanta Dream on Monday night, was more than just another win. It was a pivotal moment in their quest for a playoff spot and a testament to the transformation happening in Indiana. With Caitlin Clark leading the way, this Fever team has become something more than what the league once saw as an afterthought. Now, they're a force to be reckoned with, and every game is bringing them one step closer to solidifying their place in the postseason.
Question for Caitlin. Obviously it's easy to get caught up in all that you've accomplished, obviously as a college player and a pro already, but what do you think about in terms of just the impact you want to leave on the game long term, if you're even thinking about that at this point?
That's a tough question. I feel like I'm only 22 years old, but I act like I'm 10, so I don't know. I feel like I'm just a kid that plays basketball and has a lot of fun, and for me, coming into these arenas and these environments, I look around and it's incredible. It really is. I don't show up and expect these crowds. Sure, maybe you've gotten a little bit used to it, but for me, that's not anything that ever gets old. It really is something that's really cool, especially as a young girl who grew up going to games. And, as a young girl, if I would have came to a game in a building like this and seen this type of crowd, I think I would have been kind of in heaven. So for myself, I think it makes me really happy. It makes me smile. It gives me a lot of joy to just see the impact that I've been able to have, my teammates have been able to have, women's basketball players all across the country have been able to have, and I hope it continues to grow, because I feel like this league is really just scratching the surface. There's so much that can continue to improve and continue to get better, and I hope I'm a part of that going forward, and just being an advocate for every single person in this league, and keep pushing this thing forward and enjoying it all at the same time and having a lot of fun.
Go third row on the left. Caitlin, I want to ask you, obviously the first half of the season wrapped up, your rookie season. What are some things that you learned about yourself that you've taken over now into the second half of the season?
I think, I don't know, I mean, I think I understand the game a little bit better. Like, it is a lot different than college, and I think also for myself, being able to get to know my teammates and understand how they play, and then to understand how I play. Like, that's a big adjustment coming in here, and I think once we've been able to figure that out, you can really start us to see us play better with one another and play off one another a little bit better. Our chemistry has improved. So I think, all of that combined is just learning from game to game, continue to improve in certain areas, little areas, and I think for myself, like, I'm really excited because I feel like there's so many areas for me to continue to get better, and that's exciting as a player. It's just like, you want to get in the gym and work on those things, and I love being in the gym. Every single person on this team does, and we all feel like we can continue to get better in a lot of ways. And this team's young, has a lot of young talent, and I feel like we're just starting to put it together a little bit. So, hopefully that continues to come along.
Clark, a generational rookie talent, continues to defy expectations in her debut WNBA season. In Monday's game, she once again demonstrated why she's one of the most talked about players in the league. With the playoffs on the line, Clark delivered a stellar performance, finishing the game with 19 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block on 6 of 14 shooting from the field. She did all this despite briefly leaving the game after rolling her ankle in the first quarter. But in typical Caitlin Clark fashion, she returned to the court in the second quarter and helped guide her team to victory. This wasn't just any win, it was a crucial one. The Fever entered the contest with a 13-16 record, clinging to the 7th overall seed in the WNBA standings. Meanwhile, the Atlanta Dream came into the night with a 10-18 record, sitting just outside of playoff contention in the 9th spot. Both teams knew that this game could be a turning point in their season. A victory would push the Fever closer to securing a playoff berth, while a loss could give the Dream the momentum they needed to stay in the hunt for the postseason. But the Fever weren't about to let that happen. Led by Clark and her dynamic backcourt partner, Kelsey Mitchell, Indiana fought tooth and nail for the win. Mitchell, who has been a reliable scorer all season, once again delivered when her team needed her most. She finished the game with 29 points and 7 rebounds, carrying the Fever through tough stretches and hitting clutch shots to keep them in control. Meanwhile, Aaliyah Boston provided a strong presence in the paint, recording a double-double with 14 points and 11 rebounds. The Fever's win over the Dream wasn't just about individual performances, it was about a team coming together at the right time. Indiana's defense was suffocating at key moments, and their ball movement on offense created open looks that they capitalized on. It was the kind of complete team effort that coaches dream of, and it's the kind of performance that gives fans hope that this team can make a deep run in the playoffs. For Caitlin Clark, the night was particularly special. Entering Monday's game, she had already made 81 three-pointers in her rookie season, the second most by a WNBA rookie in a single season, trailing only Ryan Howard of the Atlanta Dream, who set the record in 2020-22. Clark needed just 4 more three-pointers to tie Howard's record and 5 to break it. And in the third quarter, she did just that, tying Howard's record with her 5th three-pointer of the night, a shot that electrified the crowd and added another milestone to her already storied rookie season. The fun part? Clark tied the record against Howard herself, the very player who had set the bar just 1 season ago. The moment was a poetic reminder of how quickly Clark has ascended in the WNBA and how she's constantly chasing history, game after game. The crazy part? The Fever still have 10 more regular season games to play, giving Clark ample opportunity not only to break the record but to make it nearly unreachable for future rookies. But Clark's contributions go far beyond just her scoring. On the season, she's averaging 17.9 points, 5.7 rebounds, 8.3 assists, 1.4 steals, and 2.8 made three-pointers per game. She's been a do-it-all player for Indiana, impacting the game in every facet. And while she's had some struggles with efficiency, shooting 41.4% from the field and 32.9% from 3 and turnovers, averaging 5.6 per game, those numbers pale in comparison to the impact she's had on her team's success. The Fever's victory over the Dream improved their record to 14-17 on the season, surpassing their win total from a season ago. Indiana's 14 wins are their most since the 2016 season, when they finished 1-7-1-7 and made their last playoff appearance. This team has come a long way in a short amount of time, and with each win, they're proving that they belong in the playoff conversation. For the Atlanta Dream, Monday night's loss was a significant setback in their pursuit of a playoff spot. They currently sit in 9th place in the WNBA standings, just outside the playoff picture. Meanwhile, the Fever are holding on to the 7th seed and are inching closer to the 6th-seeded Phoenix Mercury. If Indiana can continue their hot streak, they have a real chance of climbing even higher in the standings and securing a more favorable playoff position. The road ahead won't be easy. The Fever now travel back home to Indianapolis, where they'll face a tough Connecticut Sun team led by Alyssa Thomas and Marina Mabrey. But with Caitlin Clark on the verge of breaking the WNBA's rookie three-point record, there's no doubt that she'll be ready to rise to the occasion. All she needs is one more three-pointer to pass Ryan Howard and become the WNBA's all-time rookie three-point leader, a record that seems almost inevitable given the way she's been playing. But this season isn't just about records and individual accolades for Caitlin Clark. It's about changing the narrative around women's basketball. Clark's presence on the court has brought a new level of excitement and attention to the WNBA, drawing fans who might not have paid attention to the league in the past. Her ability to lead her team, make plays, and hit big shots has made her a must-watch player, and she's helping to grow the game in ways that will have a lasting impact. Clark's influence extends beyond the court. She's become a symbol of what the future of women's basketball can look like: dynamic, exciting, and capable of drawing crowds and breaking records. Every time she steps on the court, she's not just playing for herself or her team, she's playing for the future of the sport. And as the Fever continue their playoff push, the rest of the league is taking notice of what's happening in Indiana. The Fever are no longer a team to be overlooked. With Caitlin Clark leading the charge, they've become a force to be reckoned with, and their playoff aspirations are more than just a dream, they're a reality that's getting closer with every game. And as the regular season winds down, the pressure will only continue to mount. But if there's one thing we've learned about Caitlin Clark this season, it's that she thrives under pressure. She's made a habit of rising to the occasion, and there's no reason to believe she won't do it again as the Fever fight for their playoff spot. The Fever's success this season has been a team effort, but there's no denying that Caitlin Clark has been the catalyst for their turnaround. Her ability to impact the game in so many ways has been the difference maker, and her leadership on and off the court has helped to change the culture in Indiana. This team believes in itself, and that belief is translating into wins when it matters most. But the Fever's story isn't finished yet. With 10 regular season games left, there's still plenty of basketball to be played, and the playoff race is far from over. The Fever will need to continue playing at a high level if they want to secure their spot in the postseason and make a deep run once they get there. But with Caitlin Clark leading the way, anything is possible. As the Fever prepare for their next challenge against the Connecticut Sun, all eyes will be on Caitlin Clark. Will she break the rookie three-point record? Will she continue to lead her team to victory? One thing is for sure, whatever happens next, Caitlin Clark is ready for it. She's proven time and time again that she's capable of handling the pressure, and there's no doubt that she'll rise to the occasion once again. But beyond the individual records and accolades, Caitlin Clark is doing something even more important. She's helping to change the perception of women's basketball. Her performances on the court are bringing new fans to the game, and her ability to draw attention to the WNBA is helping to grow the sport in ways that will have a lasting impact for years to come. Clark is proving that women's basketball is every bit as competitive, exciting, and entertaining as men's basketball, and she's helping to pave the way for the next generation of players. For now, Fever fans can celebrate their team's victory over the Dream and look forward to what's next. But as the playoffs approach, the stakes are only going to get higher. The road to the postseason is never easy, but with Caitlin Clark at the helm, the Indiana Fever are more than capable of meeting the challenge head-on. Caitlin Clark isn't just a star, she's a game changer, a leader, and a symbol of the bright future of women's basketball. And as the Fever continue to climb the standings, the rest of the league would be wise to take notice. Because if there's one thing we've learned this season, it's that Caitlin Clark is a force to be reckoned with, and she's not done making history just yet. So what's next for the Indiana Fever? With every game, they're building momentum, and with every shot, Caitlin Clark is inching closer to solidifying her place among the WNBA's all-time greats. As the regular season winds down, all eyes will be on Clark and her team as they fight for a playoff spot. But whatever happens in the weeks to come, one thing is clear: Caitlin Clark is redefining what it means to be a rookie in the WNBA, and she's doing it in a way that will be remembered for years to come. Make sure to keep an eye on Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever as they continue their journey toward the playoffs. This is a story that's far from over, and you won't want to miss a moment of it.